Good morning, everyone. Today I have, oh, look, we have about 200 people on this webinar, so that's very exciting. My name is Jessica Collibos, and I work for ClassLink. I'm the Director of Engagement, and Georgia is one of my wonderful states that I get to work with on a daily basis. So today I'm here to show you around our product and just a few things real quick about me. I was a former teacher. I live in South Florida, and I taught English for a decade. And then I became the technology specialist for my district, which had 24 schools and about 1,500 teachers, roughly 20,000 kids. So I actually got to implement ClassLink as well. So I was an end user of ClassLink, just like yourselves are going to be. And I was also a person who actually had to help teachers in the school district implement. And now I joined ClassLink. So there's such an amazing product, and it does so much to help teachers and students that I am here to share that with you. So we have over 200 people now, which is so exciting. So I decided to do a little swag. I'm going to send some of our very lucky winners. So I'm going to post in the chat. So this also kind of helps us to understand what GoToWebinar is about and how you guys can kind of communicate with me. It's just me today, so there are quite a few of you, obviously, at 2:30 right now. That's awesome. So I'm going to post a Google Form link, and hopefully the link is live and everything works for me. We don't, sometimes these things happen, but I want to give some swag to you guys for participating in this today. We are super thankful to have you guys as part of our family. So let's see. Right now, if you guys jump into your dashboard, you should see a chat, and it might show as questions on your side. So I just posted a form. So it's really quick because I want to give you guys some swag. I'll do a raffle at the end. So hopefully you have to be present at the end to get the swag. So I just need your name, your school, and oh, it's working. Lori, good job. Awesome. 5 people. Quick like lightning. Awesome. Cool. Thank you guys for doing that. So take your time and fill that out. It's super quick. I only need your email address just so I can get the information so I know where to send your swag when you get it. So we have some really fun, cute things that we'll send you. Mouse pads and hand sanitizer is always an important one. Okay, so as you guys are filling that out, I'm going to kind of get started and explain the process for today. I only have an hour with you. If you want to learn more, this will be archived and you guys will have a location to get this information. So I want to throw out a really quick poll. Look at you, 90 of you already logged in and submitted your responses. We all love swag, let's be real. I was one of those teachers too. All right, I'm going to launch a poll for you. So let's launch it. And it's just taken a second. My internet is a little slow. So we'll see how this all runs today. Oh, it's definitely a slow one today. There we go. Okay, so have you ever logged into ClassLink before? I know the answer. I just want to make sure that you all know why you are on this call. Okay, about 5 more seconds. Awesome, you guys are a super stellar district. I can already tell you are submitting, you are responding. This is awesome. Okay, so let's stop and I'm going to share those results for you. And again, if you are working on the internet these days, it is a little bit slow. So we'll get into, here we go. So that's pretty typical. So this is really great. For the 22% of you that did log in before, just know that there's been a couple features that have changed. The interface has obviously changed as well. So that's definitely something that I'm excited to share with you. And then for those of you who have not logged in, well, welcome to ClassLink. All right. So my first question is always a doozy. So let's see what you guys think about this one. So the question is, which below is your My Launchpad sign-in page? Once it loads, Come on, internet, you can do it. Okay. Ooh, I'm loving this. Okay. So, perfect. We got 50%. Good job. Is it classlink.com/Newton, launchpad.classlink.com, Newton GA? I just Google ClassLink, and I email 4 other teacher friends until they tell me. The last one's a joke. But there are some people answering that way. I love teachers. I just love you guys. You're honest. All right, so I got 80% of you. Thank you guys so much. So let's share these results, because this is one of the most important things about ClassLink. You have to know where you're logging in. So I will show you once my computer loads. I'm going to say that all day. Okay. So love the teachers who said 6%. I email 4 other teacher friends until they tell me. We have all lived that life. I just Googled ClassLink. Oh, not quite. Yes, this is correct. Launchpad.classlink.com/NewtonGA. If you log in to just Newton, that's going to bring you to our fine friends in North Carolina. So where do you get this information? Well, your district did really great. So I'm going to jump over to your page and show you, because there is a link to how to log in. This is really important. So students and employees. So where are we? I'm assuming it's right here. They said click on this, and it was supposed to be right there and there. So there is supposed to be a link here. It's not Canvas, and I'm taking you through this myself. So we're going to have to find it. I'm not sure where they put your link, but the link to get is somewhere on your page. I will find that. Let's see. Is it called ClassLink? Let's take a peek. Nope. I think you guys are calling it My Launchpad. So let's see. Oh, this is the perfect time. Do you guys know? Oh, do you guys know where it is located? Newcomers, parents. They said under students and employees on the web page. Back to school. Well, maybe they haven't put it up yet. Maybe that's it. Let's see. So if you guys find that, I'm kind of curious. So I will, kind of curious where it is, because they said it was supposed to be up today. They just might not have loaded it yet. But nevertheless, this is what your wonderful page looks like. So very important, launchpad.classlink.com/NewtonGA. And this is important because if you were to Google ClassLink, what's going to happen is you are going to get to our corporate page, and you can actually log into our corporate page, but you can't. We can. So just make sure you're logging into the right spot. So I'm going to stop just a second. I am the only person doing the training today. So if you have questions, I will jump into the questions. So let's see. I still only see poll answers. Oops. Sorry, guys. Thank you. That's why I jumped into the chat. Okay, so here is your login page. It's very different than our corporate page. So just know when your district puts up those links, from what I can tell, the directions that I got for your training were they're going to be found under the Students and Employees tab on your district webpage. If you cannot hear anything, I see a lot of people that are saying that they can't hear. I definitely recommend looking. I don't have the audio for you guys to call in. Somewhere it should say, like, are you having trouble logging in or whatnot? And okay, some of you are talking about Clever. So we are going to talk about that, because Clever's, I'm not really sure. You shouldn't have to go through Clever to do anything anymore. So that is something that I will bring up. So somebody had said, Okay, when I launched, okay, I'm just looking at the questions here. Somebody had said they go into Clever. So we are actually taking the place of Clever. So Clever is kind of no more from what I'm understanding in your district. So I'm going to be showing you Launchpad. It's launchpad.classlink.com, Newton, GA. So if you've never logged in to us before, if you are used to Clever, there's going to be some transitions for you here, and that's okay. The form to fill out for the swag is in the chat. So if you guys jump into the chat, you guys will be able to see that. I reposted it again. The Clever icon on my desktop comes up as Launchpad. Okay, so Tanika, I'm going to check with the district. That probably will be removed. From what I'm understanding, you're not going to be going to Clever anymore. You guys cannot see the questions that are coming up. They only come up to me. So if you have not filled out the swag form, it's in the chat again. Okay, so somebody had said on the participant side, you're Clever. Yes. So Susan, yes, I'm going to talk about everything that was in Clever. From what I understand, they are now going to be in ClassLink. So there's a whole different process with us than Clever. So if you were a former Clever user, then this might, like I said, little transition into things. But if you have any Clever links, any shortcuts, any bookmarks, you're going to want to get rid of those because they're not going to work. Okay, all of the links are not live yet. Natasha said, perfect. So you will still have access to Clever. Perfect. The homepage for everyone is going to be set to Launchpad. That I do not know, but that is a typical what districts will do. Yes, Clever is going away. Are you supposed to sign in? No, I just wanted to show you. There's some things that are happening in your district. All of these are really great questions. But this is what your Launchpad looks like. So again, there's a lot of, there's people who have used Clever before, there's people who have never used ClassLink before. So I'm going to be going through a couple of different really important things when you're getting started. So the first thing obviously is to make sure that you get to this Launchpad from here on out. And then what you're basically going to do is log in with your credentials. They are the credentials you use to sign into the network every day. And then you guys also have this really great feature called Help, I Forgot My Password. So that allows you to actually reset your network credentials through ClassLink. So I'm going to show you all of that as well. And then if you've ever taught kindergarten, first or second grade, and you used Clever badges before, we have what's called quick cards. And the quick cards are going to allow our little guys and gals, K through 2, to log into ClassLink without having to put in a username and password. So thank you for all of these questions. I think they're wonderful. But my only thing is I'm going to jump, after I talk about each section, I'm going to jump back into the questions. So just know that your questions are absolutely coming in and I will see them. I'm just going to make sure that I cover everything and then go from there. So some of you put your name and information for the swag into the question section. Just make sure you jump over into the, I'll put it right here as well. Make sure you jump over into the chat. I posted it again. Okay, so I'm going to jump in. Due to time. Okay. All right, so here is the Launchpad. So now when you log in, what's going to happen here is you are going to be brought into a Launchpad. And your Launchpad is going to be your individual customized Launchpad. Now, this is a demo account for your district. So just know that things are going to look different when you log in. If you don't have a login yet, that's okay. Your district will be getting you that information so that you can log in. So what you see here is our, it's a totally customized system. So you want to make sure that you're always in Newton County, and this is your personal Launchpad. So the idea behind this is that every single user in the entire district, staff, students, teachers, all have a ClassLink Launchpad. So anything that I do today that I'm going to show you is going to customize your personal experience and your experience only. So when we add something to your Launchpad, it is on your page. It is not on your students. We do have a wonderful new tool called Teacher Console. It's the last thing I'm going to show you, how to add resources to your students' Launchpad, to your students instantly. So super excited to show that. Okay, so some of you have logged in before. So I'm just going to go through, this is our new interface. So just some really quick important things. The first thing is that you see applications. We call these apps. So when you log in the first time, you are going to have resources that are going to show up on your page. These are customized. Sometimes the district is going to push out a resource like Google Drive or maybe Education Galaxy to every single user in the entire district, just because that is something that they want to everybody to have. And then you're going to have things that are customized just for your grade, your course, your class. So just know, like Safari Montage is a perfect example. So we have, let me log into my demo because I am not connected to your tenant. So basically what that means is I need to jump into my demo to just show you one little piece of what you're going to be experiencing. So, okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, so these applications, there are only 3 in ClassLink that you need to know about. There's only 3 that are going to show up. One has a key. Actually, 2 of them have identical keys. And I'm actually just going to change the color of this super quick because I want you guys to see the keys. Perfect. So here's a key, here's a key. All of them actually have keys. So, and then there's another resource that doesn't have a key. So I'm going to take you through these 3. If you understand this, you're good to go. So the first resource is going to be in my demo account, just because I don't have access to your tenant. So Canvas is a perfect example. You see that it has a key. Now watch what happens when I click into Canvas. What did it do? It rolled me into my account. This is what we have that is called a true single sign-on, and that is what ClassLink is all about. The idea is that we want you and your students to log in and get to all of your resources with one click. I can click on Discovery, I can click on iReady, I can click on Castle Learning, boom, 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 you are into your resources. That is the first experience that you may encounter this year. So it is called a true single sign-on. You never have to worry about your username and password. Now, something very important here is that you will need to log into ClassLink to get that resource. If you have a bookmark stored at the top of your page, that bookmark is probably not going to work. So just know that there's a little bit of a shift and transitioning here. ClassLink is web-based. We are 24/7 access on iPads, iPhones, Google Play, Android, and computers, laptops, etc., Chromebooks. So just know that you need to, if anything, bookmark your Launchpad page so that you remember to log into ClassLink. Same thing for your students as well. Okay, so that's the first application. Pretty easy. You never have to worry about that application at all. Again, the important thing here to note is everybody's Launchpad page is going to be different. If the district is purchasing the product, more than likely they are going to give it to everybody who needs it. So if you are using Adobe Spark and your students are using Adobe Spark, they will have it. If you are using MyOn and you're using the teacher version, the students will have the student version. So you don't have to worry about that. You do not have to worry about manually creating accounts for a lot of your resources. I'm not going to say 100% because every district is different. All right, so we're going to jump into the second type of key that we're going to talk about. And I'm going to go into Safari Montage. And the first thing that is going to happen is this. We're going to stop here, super important. Okay, what is this? So if you click on any of the applications in your Launchpad, or your students do, and you get this, this means that Safari Montage is letting us know that they need our browser extension to run the application. And what that means is Safari Montage is a password locker. So we need to install the extension. Now, this is very important. People expect the extension to do something. Nope. All you do is follow this. And it works best on Chrome. I'm not going to lie. If you have a Mac, there's some wonky things that happen, but it still does work. If you have a Mac issue, you can always contact our help desk at classlink.com. But we're going to install the extension. It's going to bring us right to the Chrome store. Awesome. Here's our little extension, and we're just going to add it to Chrome. So what it's going to do is I want to add the extension, yes, and then the extension is going to pop up right there. You do not want to turn on a sync. You are done with your job. You do not have to install anything. You never have to click on that again, because what's going to happen now is when I click on Safari Montage, it's going to make the magic happen. And this one looks like your information is already stored, which is perfect. So again, I'm not logged into Safari in your district, so I'm going to add a resource in just a second to show you. So let me go into one that I think, Twitter. Perfect. Perfect. Here's our next example. So the first one is sometimes you're going to log in, sometimes your students are going to log in, you're going to click on an app and you're going to go, whoa, I didn't even have to put in a username and password. This is awesome. Then the next one has the key, and it says this. This is our other option. It's called a password locker. So the password locker is going to ask you as the end user, students, teachers, anybody, that you need to put in your own credentials and you're going to save them. So here I'm going to put in my credentials and I'm going to click save. So I put in the wrong credentials on purpose, but it says making magic happen. And if you put in the right credentials, it's going to put you right into Twitter. So also know that if Twitter is available in your district and you can use it, it will show up and it'll let you. If it's blocked, then obviously you won't be able to get through. But that's all on your district side with web filtering. Okay, so that is our second resource. Excuse me. So that's our password locker. The third resource, I'm going to jump into your app library and I am going to grab it and show you. The third resource doesn't have a key, and that means it's a bookmark. It's a web link. So I can click on ABC News and it brings me right to the website. So you will have the availability to actually customize your individual page. So when I talked about all of those bookmarks that you guys may have stored, or you may have stuff stored in a Google Chrome profile, the ones that you go to the most, I would definitely try and add to ClassLink. And why do you want to do that? Just because it's a great way to keep everything in one location. So, all right. So here are some questions. So once they put in their username and password into the app, yes, will ClassLink automatically save it? Yes, that's the beauty of ClassLink. The idea is if you're thinking of maybe an iPhone or an iPad or an Android, when you're on those apps on your phones and it asks you, do you want to save your password? That's what ClassLink is doing. So there's two options. You're going to click into a resource and go. You never have to worry about a username and password, or you're going to get that password locker. So if I click on Book Creator, I'm probably, oh, okay, that's one they have to change because that was going through Clever. So some of these, because I'm not in your actual account, you're going to, a lot of these are probably going to roll through. These are all former Clever. So if you get that password locker, it's going to store for the life of the account. So a few other things I'm going to show you. Before I get into customization, I'm going to show you how to customize and add things to your page. So teachers can do what I'm going to show you. Students cannot. So I'm going to go to the app library. And students can only add applications that you see right here. So this is a custom library created by your district. And as you can see, we have these two are already on this student's page or this person's page, so it doesn't let you re-add them. But there are other resources that a student could add. They could add Zoom if they want. Now for staff, you guys have a custom page as well, of a custom library, excuse me. But you also have our global app library. And this is pretty powerful. So I'm showing you guys now Yes, I'm going to show you guys. I'm getting some really, really great questions. So all apps. This is our global app library. So we have, I think, over 7,000 applications ready and waiting for you guys to add. So one of my go-to is Padlet. So I type in Padlet. It has a password. I know it has a password blocker because it has a key. So I'm going to click Add. And I have now added to my personal experience Padlet. Now, some of you are asking about Canvas right now. That is something that you're going to have to check with your district. I'm not sure if we have a product called rostering. I'm not sure how you're going to get into Canvas. So you definitely want to check with your district on that one, especially if you don't see it on your page. If you're not able to get into resources, don't worry about it right now because they're probably still working on a couple of things. Okay, so a teacher had just asked about art. So let's say you're like, I don't even know what to add. Who knows? You can go into art and we could see what is Hippo Paint? Well, I don't know. I know it's a website because there's no key, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. I want to explore a couple things. I was an English teacher, so I'm going to go into English, and I really, really liked going through, and any of these things that you see, you can actually add to your page. So what are you adding? This is important to note. You're not looking for resources that the district has purchased. They are going to take care of those for you. These are resources that you want to use that are like a supplemental. So a really good one is Magnetic Kids Poetry. Well, maybe that's going to be a fun one. So I can just go through and add multiple things, or I can search. So when you do a search, if you see this happen, I say do a hard return. And oops, let me get out of that. And why are we going to do a hard return? Because I want to see, do I want the key, which means a username and password is required, or do I just want a website? Well, I, as the teacher, have a username and password, so I'm going to add that. So now, what have I just done? I have added to my personal Launchpad. You cannot tell your kids, okay, guys, log into your Launchpad and go to Hippo Paint. It's not there. However, I will show you how to add that to your students in just a few. Okay. So again, somebody said that they searched for Padlet and it didn't come up. So type in Padlet and hit enter, and it should show up. So there's a couple of questions coming in. This is really great. And I will answer these in just a second. Okay, so Nicole, perfect example. I'm going to answer this one. So Nicole said she went to Lexile and she added it. No, this is a website. So you guys are only adding these to your page. Okay, so I want to be very clear about that. I'm going to show you how to get Lexile to your students in just a few. Okay, so I don't want to run out of time. So now, you guys went into the app library and you had our global app. Now, 7,000 applications is a lot. However, that's nothing compared to the Internet of Things. So you have your staff library and you have your students library. But what if there's a resource that you absolutely love and you search in here and it's not there? Well, you can add your own app. Students cannot do this, FYI. So when you add your own app, it's very simple. So one of my favorite applications, actually one of my favorite websites ever was Project Gutenberg. I taught students, and Project Gutenberg has 61,000 free ebooks. So there is no excuse that my students could not do their work. So I like to go through here, and there's some great information for my students. I taught 11th grade. So I searched the global app library. Okay, so you always want to do a search first. Okay, and this is a bad example because I know this is probably in here. See, it's already there because I've used it multiple times. But if there is a resource and you search it and it's not there, jump over here and add the app. And so I am going to, okay, so I am going to go in and let's just say it wasn't there. and I'm going to paste the URL. And so you have two options now. So your district has something that is unique and new. So if you want to add a website, you can. So this means that if you go to Education World or Common Sense Education or Cool Cat Teacher, if there's a blog you like, you can easily go here and you're going to select an icon. We have thousands of icons. You can get completely lost in icons. So you can pick any icon you want. If I want a tree, I can say, okay, I want to use that, and I click Add App. I have now added a bookmark. I've added a website to my experience, just my experience, okay? So why do you want to add these? Down here, you have something called My Analytics. So My Analytics is going to give you analytics on everything that you do in ClassLink on your Launchpad. And this is really powerful because you can use this to show supplemental things that you're using in regards to technology, as long as you add it to ClassLink. You can also see how many times you've accessed each of your resources. So it's really kind of powerful. You cannot upload your own icon, Natasha. Great question. Okay, so recap. I have shown you the 3 types of applications. The first one you click on, I showed you it in our demo. You click and go. It brings you right into your account. You really don't have to even know anything about that. The only thing you have to know is if you get into your account right away and your students do, we are making the magic happen on our end. The only thing you and your students need to know is that you need to make sure you're logging in through ClassLink every day. The second app is like Twitter. I showed you it was a password locker. So that is where you as the end user, students, teachers, have to enter their username and password one time. When you click save, it stores into our password locker. And what that does is every time you click into Twitter, it is going to bring you right into your account. So anything that has a key, you want to make sure that all those passwords are stored. The last one is a no key. It's a web link. So that is just a website. So look at your most used resources and maybe add 1 or 2 to ClassLink this year. You don't have to add all of them, but you can if you want. Okay, so the next thing I showed you is our app library. So there are 3 libraries that teachers can use. There is 1 library that students can use. One of the best things about ClassLink is students can't break it, and I always joke, if there is a student who does something, we would probably hire them because it's very, very difficult for students to do wrong. We want students to log in and get to their resources, and that's it. So you can add from the global app library. You can add from this library or this library. You can also add a custom application. So here you're going to add websites. Now you guys have a different request. So you can have app requests, but it's going to go to what is called your NOW request. Your district, I'm assuming, it's called a now request. So if you have a website that you need to enter your username and password for, you're going to submit a now request to them. If you want to add a website, you can just go here. I don't know what a now request is, but that's what they told me to say. So now, great question that just popped up. I'm going to show you a couple things here. Facebook is here. Vimeo is here. YouTube is here. Just know you can add YouTube. You can add Facebook. But if your district blocks it, you cannot get to it. So this is our global apps. We are an international company. We're in all 50 states here, and we're also international. So our global apps are populated for the global environment. So here's a perfect example of YouTube. There is the education version, the editor version, the password locker version. You have to enter your username and password, which means you have an account, and then just a web link. Again, you can add YouTube 100%, but your students cannot. It's only going to go to your page, and if your district lets you into YouTube, then it's going to work. So Infinite Campus may or may not be on here. Great question. Infinite Campus and Canvas, I'm going to ask my counterpart to discuss that with your district and find out. Okay, we're rocking and rolling. We're doing great. So now I am going to enter my information into Padlet. I jump in, I added Padlet, and now I want to put in my credentials. I'm going to click Save. Now, we're going to make the magic happen, but password's incorrect. Now what do I do? So if you or your students accidentally do a keystroke incorrect, you want to just right-click on an app. If it says edit password, that means that it's a password blocker, and you can absolutely edit that. I did this on purpose because I want to show you how to fix this. So here is my password that's stored. It's stored into my Padlet. So I'm going to go here, and I know that this is incorrect. Oh, I put the wrong password. So I could change it right here. So let me go ahead and just change that. So this happens from time to time. So now it's changed. So now I'm going to click into Padlet, and it's going to, now I know that my password is stored correctly. For the life of Padlet now, as long as I log into ClassLink, it's here. Here is what I wanted to show you as well. This is lovely Google. We love Google, but Google wants you to save your password in the profile as well. We recommend to click Never. Why? Because you have stored this already in ClassLink. If you store it in Google as well, and you change your password in ClassLink, Google is not going to be happy, and it's going to conflict with the two. So if you've never known how to look and see where your passwords are and how many passwords have you stored if you're using Chrome, you can go into settings and you can actually see all of your passwords that are in here. So you can see if you have saved passwords, some of you will be really surprised. You're going to have a whole bunch of them. So just know that try not to save your passwords in Google. If you want to, that's okay. Okay, so anything. If I right-click on Safari, I can edit password. If I right-click on PBIS rewards, guess what I don't see? I don't see edit password. That means we take care of that for you. Okay, great questions coming in. Awesome. So I'm going to cover some of those right now. Okay, Taya, I'm not sure I'm understanding your question. So if we want the kids to use the app, we need to click on the app with the key. Okay, so if students need a username and password, you're always going to find an app with a key. But keep in mind, the district is going to give you everything or as many things as they can that are already on your page. So any e-textbooks, things like that that the district pays for, you guys should not have to worry about those. Now, the app library is for supplemental, additional things that you as the individual teacher want to add to your experience. So the idea is eventually you guys will have everything that you can in ClassLink. So you can go to your phone. We have an app that you can install, download, and you can get to the ClassLink experience on your phone. So it's pretty cool. So can your students. All right, so now I've shown you. Now we're going to customize. So let's say that you're like, oh my gosh, there's too many things on this page, and you want to start to organize some things. There are multiple ways you can do this, but I'm going to take ABC News, left click, and I'm going to drag it over to Project Gutenberg because that's my other website. And when you see a folder, let go. I've just created my own personal folder. It is not on your student's page. Very important. I'm going to left click on the words new folder, and I am going to call this websites for first 9 weeks. Now I'm going to click on the folder, give it a little color, and I'm going to close it. I can now drag and drop McGraw-Hill. I can drag and drop ClassFlow. I used ClassFlow. Okay, so if it's something that has a lock on it, that means your district has assigned it. You cannot delete it. Your students can't delete it either. So that's always a fun thing. Kids can't delete stuff. If you see something that has a little red X, so I had to go into edit mode to see this little red X, or you can just simply right click. If you see the words remove app, that means you've added it. So you can customize. I can left click and make a folder super quick. Now let's say students can make folders as well. So let's say one of your students makes one folder and puts all of their apps in it. No harm, no foul. They can customize just like I just showed you. What you would do, or what they could do, is you can right click and you can remove the folder. You click delete. It does not delete the applications, it just deleted the folder. It put the apps back out. So play around with that a little bit if you want. Now, I would, Lexile is something that I would use every day. I'm going to right click and I'm going to add to favorites. We have a doc. If you right click and add to favorites, you can just keep going and you can customize this. This is also customized for your students. They can do this as well. So your apps down here are not going to be the same as anybody else's because it's an individual experience. And when you're done with Lexile, you can just remove. So when you're working with your students, either remote or brick and mortar situation, you could say, okay, guys, these are the 4 things that that we're going to use that I want you to add to your doc. And you can do that. Keep in mind, though, Hippo Paint is not going to be on your kids' Launchpad because that's something that you added. Okay, some other things that you can do, adding to folders. So if I made multiple folders, I can just right click and I can add to a folder. So I can do that really quick. The other things you can do, excuse me, in edit mode, you can add a folder in edit mode too. So there's multiple ways you can do this. You can also change your theme. Now, if your district allows this, we are in classic theme right now. You can go to primary. I don't think you would because this is for our little guys. This is very simplistic for the students in our K1 and 2. It just makes everything easier to click on if they're lacking fine motor skills. It just makes the app, if they can click anywhere in here as opposed to a little icon. And then you can go to the professional theme. So the professional theme has a white background. The primary theme has a white background as well, and you cannot change the backgrounds in those 2 themes. Some people like this theme a little bit better. It's completely up to the end user. Students, I do believe if the district does allow them to change that, then they can. You can change your app size, simple. You can change your font style, one of 2 things. You have a background and you have no background. And then you can change the palette. When you change the palette, it just changes the color across the top. Your students can do all of these 4 things. If your students click the edit icon and they have those, then they do have the availability to do that. That's about the most that students can do in terms of customization. Rebecca, I'm going to show you in Teacher Console how you can add the app for students to see. Will a student's view look like when that student has several teachers? Okay, great example. ClassLink Launchpad, great question, Kimmy, is for every single, it's not teacher-based, it is district-based. It's one account. So your math, your science, your social studies, your English, your Spanish, your everything is going to be in here. Everything that can be put in here by your district will be put in here. Okay, so Lynn, I'm not sure why your taskbar doesn't have the edit mode. It should have both of those if you take a screenshot, and you can email me, but it should be there. How do I get the taskbar under the main title bar? Okay, so edit mode, you click on it, and it's going to bring you into our edit mode. Very simplistic. But if you are not seeing these, you absolutely should. You might need to enlarge your screen a little bit, drag the screen out. Notifications is going to, it's a little bell. Notifications are going to look like this. So these are important things that your district may or may not push out via ClassLink, but you use Canvas, so they might push it out in Canvas as well. Or I think you use Canvas. I saw Canvas quite a bit on here. Okay, Taya, I'll get to that question in a second. Notifications are just that. If you see a notification, click on it and see what's going on. Okay, so just a few other things. This is our dynamic search. So if you were looking for all things Google, it's going to pull it up for you. So it's pretty standard search bar. And then we're going to go into your profile, and then I'm going to show you my favorite feature, which is Teacher Console, and then I will answer all of these awesome questions. Okay, and 312 of you are on here. Oh my gosh, I am just so thankful for all of you guys. Being a former teacher, it's awesome to see you guys on here. Again, I just posted in the chat. Jump over to the chat, and if you have not put in your information for the swag raffle, please make sure that you do. Okay, so my profile settings. Your students also have these options. So again, I will tell you what your students can and cannot do. So general is click on your profile image and go ahead and add a profile image. Now, right now, I don't see that your district allows teachers to upload their own picture. That could change. If it does, you will see a little icon that looks like this. It's a little upload. But for right now, you have our wonderful avatars. I'm feeling a little bit like Julia Roberts right now, so I'm going to be Julia. Now, I always say jump in and add something and have your kids add something. One of the greatest things that I did and I loved about ClassLink was it's a shiny new toy for kids, basically, and they're like, ooh, what can I do with this? I would give my kids 10 minutes to go in, and now, mind you, I have 16 and 17-year-olds, and I said, go play. Go do whatever you're going to do. I give you 10 minutes. They right-clicked, they left-clicked, they moved things, they tried to add things, they did all kinds of things. And then I stopped and I went around the room and I said, okay, show me how you did that. Show me how you did that. And very quickly, the glamour of ClassLink wore off because they realized there wasn't much they could do. So it's one of those things that if you're a teacher that is just concerned about that, let them play and you'll see that there's very little they can do. So that's where I also have them pick an image just so it's not empty. Okay, the only thing else they can change here is they could change their default language if they need to. They can go to Spanish if they need to. It's just going to change, the wording that it can in ClassLink. Themes, here is everything I just showed you in edit mode. The only other thing that I didn't show you was high contrast mode. Ooh, very pretty. Some people love that. So you can change it to high contrast. So can the students. The welcome wizard is just basically, it just tells you a little bit about ClassLink. And then here is your palette, keeping in mind that's all the kids can really change. This is the most important part of, in my opinion, your profile settings. So here is where anything that has a key that popped up and gave you this box, this is our password locker. You put your information in and you click save, but where did it go? So it went into your settings, into your password. This is called our password locker. So the only time to go into the password locker really is to see what is not set. Well, if you're working with your students and even you want to make sure that every single one of these says set because you want your experience and your students' experiences to be super quick. No, you cannot see your students' launchpads. You have to actually go to their computer. So that's an important thing. So this is something, like I said, when we're going through the first few weeks of school, kids are like, well, I can't get in. Well, my thing with my kids was, do you keep clicking skip? Well, if you keep clicking skip, you're not going to get the experience and you're never going to set your password. So if you need to change your password, I always recommend a right click and going to edit password. It's going to bring you right there. You could, if you want, go into your password locker, but I don't really recommend that because I could literally go to Padlet and I can go to edit. And as you can see, it brought me to the same location. But that is one of the first things that I always have students check and I always have teachers check. Number one, go in, right click on your application, edit password, and just double check that your password's right. If it is, then we need to troubleshoot a little bit more, but typically it's the password. Okay, I'm going to show you auto launch. And then sign in, you don't have to worry about, and then security. So security is a really great brand new feature. So as teachers, especially with remote learning right now, one of the greatest things about ClassLink that I loved was I could be on my Mac, my iPhone, my iPad, and my desktop computer all at the same time logged into ClassLink. It's a real-time environment. So if you add something on your phone, it's already on your Launchpad on your desktop. So it's really great. So, but sometimes I'm like, I don't even know where I'm logged in right now. There's too many sessions going on. So I'll show you an example of that. So here, it's showing me everything that I have. Tells you the method you logged in. So you could see a cell phone here. You could see a quick card here. So if you are like, oh, no, let me log out of all of these, you can log out of all the other sessions. It keeps your account very secure. Just know that your students have that availability too, but it will not ever let you log out of your current session. So let's talk the fun world of auto launch, and then we're going to get into the last piece, which is our teacher console. So auto launch, your students can do this too. So I'm going to turn it on. Right click, set. Right click, set. Right click, set. What happened? Nothing happened. So, okay, what do I do? So now the fun part happens. When this user logs in the next day, it's going to log into Newton County Launchpad, and then it's going to launch all of those 4 things that I just launched. What it basically does is it auto launches certain resources. This is super fun. When a student does that, I gave my students that first 10 minutes to play around when we started using ClassLink, when I used it 5 years ago, and they panicked because they were like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Is somebody hacking my computer? And they didn't realize they auto-launched. It does not do any harm to the students at all. So it doesn't do any harm to the account. It just means they auto-launched. So if a student is panicking or you're panicking and you're like, what just happened here? You don't remember what you auto-launched. If you hover, you can see there's no rocket and there's a rocket. Or you can jump over into your settings and auto launch, and here they are. We can just quickly turn them off. No harm, no foul. Everything is great. It just launches things for you. Some kids love it. Some teachers love it. Just keep in mind that a biology teacher in 9th grade might ask all students to auto launch the bio textbook, and you're the math teacher. And if you're sitting in class and things start to auto launch, just know that's okay. Another teacher may have required them to auto launch something, and that's okay. So just a little thing. Now, when they log back in, the only thing that's going to log in is their Launchpad. So, okay. I'm going to jump to questions before I jump to Teacher Console. Okay, so great questions. Okay, the primary theme does not have the add or edit icons in the taskbar. Yes, Catherine, that is true. That is for primary students because they don't have those options. We took away all the busyness of them. So if you go into primary, you will not have that feature. Typically, teachers will stay in classic or professional. Students as well will stay in classic or professional. Clever allows teachers to create folders for students. You cannot create folders yet in ClassLink, but I will show you how you can add things to your teacher console. But that is something that we do have on our roadmap, Lori. Great question. So some of you, unfortunately, Tori, Kelly, Juanita, Crystal, you entered your information in the chat and not in the Google form. So jump over to the chat and you want to just make sure I posted it again, put in your information there. Is this attached to Canvas? Every district is different, Samantha. Great question. Let's see, I have tried to add the 3 different Canvas apps. Okay, Canvas is definitely something that your district is going to deploy. I don't know if it's going to be in ClassLink yet. They might still be working on it. Definitely reach out if you are using Canvas in your district. Find out how they're going to want you to log into Canvas this year. How do you upload your own picture? Right now, your district does not have that enabled. I think it's Maisha. Great question. If you are allowed to upload your own, it's going to show up. When you click on your image, there's going to be a little upload icon next to this dinosaur. Will the students' usernames and passwords be set up already? Tony, yes. They will be set up for district apps that are licensed. So let's say PBIS, I can't speak for your district because every district is very, very different. But typically anything that your district is using they have purchased and they are rostering with us, they will set it up for you. So you don't have to worry about that. Excuse me. I do not know, Melissa, if your school email will be available on Launchpad. That is another question for your district. Again, every district deploys the emails differently. Can a teacher auto launch for students? No, they cannot. It is a personal thing. What I tell the first few weeks of school, when I find an application that I want the students to auto launch, I'll just tell them to right click and set that auto launch. A little difficult for the littles. This is a great feature. If we can, I'll add that to my list for my development team to add that. So that's a really great question. Students will also have to sign in that first time for each app. By signing in, if you mean, yes, they're going to, if Padlet, they click into Padlet and it pops up that password locker, yes, they're going, that's their first initial sign in. So once they store their username and password, it's actually going to bring them right into the app. So if they were to click on My On, that one, it looks like, see, this is a perfect example. My On in your district doesn't have a username and password. So that's going to bring you right into your account. The students don't have to worry about that. How will students first get on ClassLink? They will go to launchpad.classlink.com/NewtonGA, and they'll put in their username and password one time, unless they are kindergarten through second, and they will use the quick card. Teachers are not, you are able to see, no, you cannot see student credentials. So teachers can't see, I'll show you Teacher Console now. We have just a couple minutes, we're looking good. Do I need to add an extension for Padlet? Depending on, Taya, your computer, you might not need to add the extension. All right, I don't want to run out of time. So here, the last thing to show you on your dock here at the bottom, you have the wonderful world of My Files. So you can connect your drives. So you can connect Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive. And that looks like right here. I'm going to go into my demo because there's a lot more in my demo. And here is My Files. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 things connected. So I can go over here and I can look up the word English. I know that it is my English syllabus. And I can search every single one of these drives at one time. It is a powerful tool that we have, and you guys have it too. So here is my English syllabus. It's in Microsoft Word. I can right click and immediately open it in a Google Doc. It automatically converts it. Pretty cool. I can go into my Google Drive now. Dropbox didn't have anything. Oh, but OneDrive has something. So if you've never connected your drives before, it is super quick and easy. You just go to connect, type in your credentials, and you're good to go. Okay, My Analytics, again, this is just analytics for you. Awesome. So now Teacher Console. Right here is Teacher Console. When the students log in, they are going to have the same exact icon, but it says My Backpack. Now from here on out, things change. So anything that I showed you up here is on your page. But Lexile, Padlet, and Hippo Paint are 3 resources that you want to give your students. They are website, and then you have Padlet, which is I don't know if you'll be able to add that one because it's a password locker, so you can't add that one, but you can add websites, and I'll show you and explain. Now, where are they going to go? So the teacher who in here said, I want to add Lexile, we're going to go with that one. We're going to go into Teacher Console. Okay, so now I'm actually going to jump into my demo environment because I'm not connected. So here we are. Teacher Console is connected to your student information system. Here is your class schedule for this school year, and here are the number of students. And here are all of the apps associated with that class. This is great because it's all right here for a student to go into. Now, all of these apps are on that student's launch pad as well, okay? All right, so you can post announcements. If you're using Canvas, you might do announcements over in Canvas. I'm going to skip apps for just a second. Students, if you use quick cards, they're going to eventually show up right here, but you can get student analytics. So this is a fun feature. You can see anything that is assigned to that student's launchpad, you're going to get analytics for. So you get login charts, login records, login history. How can you use this? Well, you assigned resources to your kids to do work. Are they actually doing the work? You can go in and see individualized student information, and then you can also export the report. Again, this is my demo, so it's taking a little bit of time. I'll wait for that to load. Okay, logins. You can also take daily attendance. A check mark means a student has logged into ClassLink. So no check mark means they haven't. And then you can see you've assigned things to your students. Well, you want to see, I'm going to jump back a week. This is the whole week and Saturday and Sunday. You can see what your kids are doing on the weekends, and you'd be amazed. So I can go into Johan, and I see he was in Skyward, Google Drive, Khan Academy, and Nearpod. And I see time spent. So time spent means that this was an active tab. It means kids were clicking around. And I know it's 10 o'clock, guys, sorry. Give me like 4 more minutes. So this is not saying that he was actively doing work for 38 minutes and 55 seconds. This means that that tab was active and open. We do not track keystrokes on anybody. So you would have to go into Nearpod and see the analytics in Nearpod to see what that student did. But this is a great way to see, did the student even go into the resource that I wanted him to go into? You get that for all of your students. So I'm going to jump into the app section now. Anything that you see right here when you log in that's already here that has a lock on it means it's assigned by the district and you don't have to worry about it. Your kids have it. You can still click into it even if it's locked. It just means that you and your students cannot delete it. But all these other things that say remove, I can remove it because I've added it. What happens here? I'm going to do that Lexile app that teacher mentioned earlier. I'm going to, when I click add new app, and I am going to search Lexile. Oh, actually, you can't. Okay, so the global app library, which is right here, is not available at all in the teacher console. So you searched for Lexile here and we found it, okay? But because of the policies set forth, your district libraries, the only 2 libraries that you can add from right now are your staff library and your students library. If Lexile is not in here, okay, then there's one thing that you can do. So only staff and students. These are not populated a lot right now, and that's totally okay. They will be populated. Your district, you will have more things. So how do I add Lexile? I'm going to go to add my own app. I'm going to type in Lexile, and I'm going to type in the website. Now, it's a website. It is not a username and password. Please keep that in mind. Anything that you add, you need to make sure is approved by your district. So if YouTube is not approved, you're not going to want to add YouTube here because you don't want to violate anything. So select an icon. We can look for Lexile. It's here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to click add app. As soon as I just did that, every single student in this class just got it. Where did it go? It went in their backpack. It did not show up on their Launchpad. That is the most important thing for you to remember is, hey guys, I just added Lexile. Go into ClassLink and click on your My Backpack. It's in there. So it's going to show up, and on the student side, they will not have the add app. They cannot add anything. They cannot delete anything. They can just click in here and go. You can add your syllabus to this. Anything that has a web link, you can add. Just make sure that it is district approved. So if you wanted to add your syllabus, if you wanted to add every single website that the kids are going to use for that first 9 weeks, you can do that. If you wanted to add a PowerPoint presentation, a PDF, as long as there's a website URL, you can get to it. I don't know if you're using it for pre-K. How do I add a resource for students to access? Caroline, I just showed you. You will need to go into the teacher console and add it from here. Can you review how to push the apps to the students that we add? So your students are synced. So you would just simply go into your classroom and you would go to apps and add new app. Now you are only going to have a staff library and a student library here. If the apps are not in there, you can either request through an NOW request or now request to have it added to the app library, or if it is a website, if it is a bookmark, you can go here and you can add it. So just keep in mind that you can't add a password locker here. The students are only going to get web pages, as you can see, like a back to school help, Lexile. You can put a Zoom link if you want really quick. So it is unlimited to what you can add in terms of websites. Just make sure it's approved. So there's a lot of really cool things teachers are doing. Okay, it is 10:04. We are out of time. If we add a Google slide, will they automatically have their own copies? Well, I'm a Google trainer, so I can answer that. You can actually add a Google slide and you can edit the URL, and where it says edit, you could just put copy and it'll force copy for the kids. But essentially, yes. So you can do that. So many cool things you can do with Teacher Console. I'm super excited for you and your district. So let's give away some stuff now. Okay. So I'm just going to put this up here to make this fair for everybody. And I'm just going to go to random number chooser. Nope. Oh, it always pops up. Random number generator. I think it's that one. Love you, Google. Okay. So I'm going to scroll down. This was always a fun way for me to choose my students because when nobody raised their hand. So I would just do this. All right, everybody ready? You have to be here to win. And you will get an email from me and I will get your information and get you out our little flag. So Lori, oh, thank you so much. I am in engagement. So if you guys have any questions ever, please feel free to email me. My email I'm going to put in the chat. I know some of you have to leave and you're like, just do the raffle. I'm a former teacher. I'm a former end user. I love this product so much. It really changed the game in the classroom for me and my students. So I'm very excited that you guys are using it. So I'm glad you guys got trained today. All right, let's give away some stuff. Number 118? Number 118. Oh, the anticipation is Indian Creek Middle School, Andrew Autry. Congrats, Andrew. I'm just going to give you a little red there. Okay. So, Andrew, if you want to email me, jcollieboss@ClassLink, or I'll email you, number 144. Isn't this fun? It's a great thing to use with your students, especially in remote learning. So we have Flint Hill, Linda Shirley. Congrats. You guys are going to get some fun swag, mouse pads, hand sanitizer. I have t-shirts, socks. I have all kinds of fun stuff. So you'll be getting some good stuff. All right, number 21. All right, good number. 21 is going to be Ashley Failure, Livingston Elementary. Probably said your name wrong. Do apologize for that. All right, let's do two more. 234. Okay, 234. 234, where are you? And we got Yahara Upperman, Live Oak Elementary. Okay, and then our last one, fingers crossed. 109. So 109. Okay, Alana Khan, Rocky Plains Elementary. All right, so thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful year. I know it's a very difficult year this year, but good luck and congrats to the winners. This will be archived. You will be able to watch this. And I do appreciate you guys sticking around for the whole time. And have a great year.